Hey, it's Drummond. Welcome back for another YouTube video. So today's video, I wanted to talk about something that I've been dealing with a lot recently because I feel like it's something that a lot of people don't fully understand the repercussions of certain things in life, and when it comes to inappropriate comments that I've had to deal with in the past, there's a really good reason for why I personally do not accept them, why they honestly anger me when people try to get away with them, because I think in a lot of instances, people think that it's just a harmless comment. They think that, oh, it's just me teasing you, or it's, oh, just me being a harmless flirt. But in a lot of cases for me, I've dealt with people using those as kind of a way to nudge themselves past boundaries that I have set. And in those instances, a lot of times after the inappropriate comment comes another inappropriate comment, and then it comes to invading my personal space, and then in a lot of instances it has ended in inappropriate touching, as well as things that I would consider sexual assault. And I think that that is something that people need to start to realize, that when people create boundaries, especially for someone like myself who dealt with being molested as a child and also sexually abused as an adult, that it may be a harmless comment from you, but for me and a lot of other people who have dealt with people who kind of use those comments as a way to kind of test our boundaries and see how far they can get, for us, it's really dangerous for us to kind of say, oh, you know what, maybe this person, it was just a comment and they didn't really mean anything more than just to be kind of a little flirt. Whereas this person over here is kind of testing the boundaries to see how far I will let them go before I put up that boundary and say, absolutely not. So for me and a lot of others, it is so much easier for us to just say, hey, we are not okay with this and you need to respect the boundaries. And in a lot of cases, I've had people get really defensive about, hey, I should be allowed to say whatever I want, and that's true, but be aware that you will also have to deal with the consequences of your actions. And in a lot of cases, that means I will cut you out of my life so quickly. If it comes to social platforms, I will block you so quickly. And I think that in a lot of instances, people try to play the victim when people do that to them. But in a lot of cases, mine included, people have gone too far. And when it comes to that, I've had friends that have gone too far, and then I have to deal with my own mental health, with all the things that drudges back up in me when it comes to knowing what it feels like to be sexually violated by family members and by close friends. I personally draw the line, absolutely no flirty comments. I don't want to hear about what you think about any part of me, because personally, if I have not invited you into my life in a way to be flirty, like if I haven't gone on a date with you, if I don't flirt with you in the first place, I'm not looking for you to send me any type of messages that are in that type of context. And I think that for me personally, there have been a lot of times where I've had to have that really hard conversation with friends and people in my life, and I feel like I haven't gotten a lot of respect from those people just because they feel like I'm blaming them or saying that they are a sexual predator. And in my case, it does not matter if you are a sexual predator or just trying to be funny and flirty, because when someone says no, when someone says, please don't talk to me in that way, it doesn't matter. And I'm not in the position to say, you know what, let's just see how far this person will take it, because that is once again a boundary that I have to be forceful to kind of push you back behind the boundary that I had originally wanted you to stay behind in the first place. And I think a lot of people face this, and I've felt like a lot of people put me in situations where it's really hard for me to say no. And so in a lot of cases, I've had to be very upfront and just be like, you know what? I absolutely do not want to be flirted with in that way. I'm not interested in you in that way. And somehow that makes me the bad person in a lot of people's eyes. But to me, that is me setting up boundaries because I have to worry about my own safety on a very regular basis, especially when it comes to being online and in front of a lot of people. And I think that too often people kind of think that, oh, if I put this person in a situation and they don't say no, that it's okay to keep going. But I feel like personal boundaries are something that you should have to respect no matter what. There have been so many people who think that because I said no at this point in my life, that somehow if they advance again, that me not saying no again is the, oh no, he didn't say no this time. But for me, it's just no means no. And if I have not consented to any of that, then the no continues from this point until I tell you that it's okay. And in most cases, when it comes to people who have taken it way too far, I've never said yes. And there have been a lot of situations where people have taken advantage of the situation, whether it's they blame it on the alcohol, or they think that if they are in a position of me needing their help or them having some type of power over me, whether that's being able to fire me or being able to say, hey, I know that I made this promise with you, but since you were so rude about making a boundary of me not crossing this line of flirting with you, I'm no longer going to help you with whatever I said I was going to help you with. And in those situations, I think that there are definitely people who are behaving like predators instead of friends, instead of family members, instead of bosses, coworkers. And I think that it's important for people to realize that you put people in such awkward situations, and in a lot of situations, people feel powerless. They feel like they can't say no because of this, that, or the other happening if they do. And I think that that's a really big problem that we're dealing with in this world is people of power, people who have something that they can kind of hold over someone else. They think that that somehow gives them the permission to do certain things, and when they don't get a no, they keep pushing because they feel like they have the right in a lot of senses, and they are fully banking on their power or their position to kind of get them past the lines that people have drawn for them to stay behind. And I know from experience that after something like that happens, that's a really hard conversation to have. I personally, in those situations, a lot of times, instead of trying to have that conversation, I just push that person out of my life because it's so much easier for me to just not put myself back in that mental headspace, for me to start to heal and just be like, you know, this person thought it was okay at that time and they're going to think it's okay again in another position. That's one of the main reasons why I struggle so much asking for help. That's why I struggle so much when things go wrong, when I need assistance from other people. I don't like it when someone doesn't give me a, hey, if I do this for you, then here's the price that you have to pay right up front. I don't like the, hey, I'm gonna help you out and it's just free. I just wanna be there for you, because in that instance, that leaves that open for that person to renegotiate later to where they're like, hey, since I helped you out, you owe me this favor over here. And in a lot of those instances, I've been put in situations where people think it's okay to invade my space. They think it's okay to start with a very small way of flirting and then push their way past boundaries that I've set for myself. And it seems like people don't care if you're in a relationship. They don't care if you morally do not do those certain types of things. It's just like they think I've helped you, therefore everything's free game, and that's just not the case. But I hope that this video has kind of helped someone who maybe is in a position similar to my own, or if you're a person that somehow has kind of thought it was okay to be flirty after someone has told you no, and you somehow get very offended that this person is setting a boundary, and somehow you think you have the right to be defensive and say that they need to lighten up and that they need to let their walls down or move their boundaries. You need to realize that maybe your intentions weren't to take it any further than just the inappropriate flirting that you were doing. But at the same time, the person who is setting that boundary probably has a very specific reason for setting that boundary. When people assume that looks are all someone has to offer, a lot of times they just assume sexualizing that person is okay, and they think that this person should take it as a compliment. That's not a compliment. To say you are not worthy of the boundaries you have set for yourself, and you are not wise enough to know where good boundaries are for protecting yourself. I just think that everyone should kind of take a step back. When someone says, I'm not comfortable using these words, I don't like it when someone says this, I don't like being called this, I don't like the way that you're looking at me, I don't like the way that you treat me in these situations. All of those things are boundaries these people are setting and should be completely respected by anyone they say it to. It does not matter if you feel offended that these people have set a boundary. It's a boundary that has been set and needs to be respected. But like always, hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Please leave some comments in the comment section below. I love hearing from you all. I also have the link to my Drummond Culture website below as well. So for those of you who have not visited my website yet, please check that out. I've got all my positive talks there, as well as videos that I'm not going to have public on my YouTube channel anymore, but you can still have access to them if you create a membership. It's free, so do it right now. It might not be free always, because I've been moving a lot of stuff onto that website so that people have access to some of the things that I don't want just the whole public to have access to. But feel free to check that out, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.